In this video, I'm going to be showcasing my current portfolio as of the end of June and the performance of the portfolio during the month. Now, one thing to note, we're actually not going to be spending a ton of time within the Robinhood app, just because this is, as of the recording of this video, this is happening a couple of weeks after the actual month end. So I am going to just go into a spreadsheet where I've taken a snip of my statement balance, and then we're going to just go and actually review all the just different changes as far as did I add money into the account? Did the stocks change in value, interest, dividends, stuff like that. So hopping over to a little spreadsheet I made at the bottom of the screen, what you're going to see is my most recent account statement, just a little snip of it. It's going to have a lot of information that's just going to carry up to these cells up at the top, like my beginning and ending just account balance, dividends earned, capital gains distributions, and then interest earned. So up top, you're going to see that same information, beginning and ending account balance change. This is just kind of so we can see the total change of the portfolio, and then that's just really runs through all these items down here as far as what factored into that change. So starting off with the performance of the portfolio, so the value of the portfolio did go up a bit, just primarily due to unrealized gains in various stocks. So we had $552.90 in unrealized gains. Um, I did receive just over $47 of interest and $110 in dividends. I realized a bit of capital gains just as I was moving around the portfolio and preparing to redeploy some cash, which I ended up investing in the beginning of the July. We're going to see a bit of this in the month of July as well. There was one more position that I just liquidated as I didn't really feel like it met what I was trying to do for the portfolio. One thing to note is I did end up pulling out a little cash during the month. That was due to the payment of some personal expenses. I have the Robinhood Gold Card with AutoPay set up, and the AutoPay is set up to come from my brokerage account. So that was just kind of a timing thing. I went and contributed more cash in the beginning of July to offset that. Usually, what you'll probably see is me just contributing money every month to the account to try and grow it and just obviously make more investments. Jumping over to my current holdings, this is just kind of the starting allocation I set up. I'm going to go over each of these holdings and my rationale for purchasing them or selling them in separate videos, which should all be released over the next couple weeks. I didn't really make any new purchases or sales during the month, other than just rebalancing and selling off some old positions in the creation of this portfolio. One thing, just as far as formatting goes, you can see I've created two columns here. One with the trailing 12-month dividend per share, which is column D, and then one with like a projected dividend payout over the next year. So the reason for this difference is there are certain companies that have increased or changed their dividend payouts recently. And when you calculate the yield of the stock as well as the portfolio as a whole, I wanted to make sure I understand the way the yield is being calculated. Sometimes the yields listed on Robinhood or other brokerage apps and websites can be a little different due to standardized formulas or changes in dividend payouts. Sometimes the website is just a more accurate version because it's factoring in changes that you're not really seeing on Robinhood. Sometimes the numbers are just completely scawampus. And so, really, me just going through here and doing that projected dividend per share. So, at least I have a consistent way that I know I can kind of validate how I'm just deciding what stocks to purchase and what I think the yield is going to be. Changes to compositions of like an ETF, like SPHD or SCHD, can lead to changes in that trailing 12-month yield versus the projected yield going forward. I'm not including that in this calculation just because it is a little difficult to model. Overall, the projected yield of the portfolio is just above 4%, which is in a range I am comfortable with. Just because, as a reminder, the kind of goal I set for this portfolio, I do want it to be asset appreciating. I don't want these any of these stocks or ETFs to lose value, but I do want it to just produce stable income. Uh, so a yield of 4%, I do feel like that's producing enough cash flow that I can kind of consider that I'm sufficiently meeting my goal there. The portfolio yield is being drugged down a bit by Nintendo. and my large positions in SPHD and SEHD, which don't yield quite as much, but I'm really kind of okay with that. The REITs do help offset that to a degree. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and let me know if there's any interesting stocks you think I should look into.